It's the 20th anniversary of Earth Day. There was a lot of hype today and hopefully some good intentions. We're going to take a look at some of the local activities and whether people remember Earth Day tomorrow.
Just a beautiful day, a great Earth Day, and looking ahead, I'm very optimistic for a good week of spring.
This was NFL Draft Day. The Buffalo Bills needed a cornerback, so they went out and got one of those. They think they need a fullback, so they got one of those too.
Taking TV a step beyond. We're WGRC Channel 5 Rochester. News 5 Rochester. With Paula Zack, Leanne Carlson, meteorologist Sam Evans, and Bill Bucko on sports. This is the 10 o'clock report.
It was 20 years in the making. Around the world, mankind celebrated Earth Day.
And across the ocean, one hostage is celebrating freedom. Good evening, I'm Leanne Carlson, and welcome to News 5 Rochester.
And I'm Doug Lizette. We'll have more on the release of Robert Polhill later, but first, a look at how we marked Earth Day locally at Monroe Community College.
What we're doing really is helping nature to help itself.
Tom Rapp will tell you that that can begin in your front yard if you use his organic fertilizers. That type of sales pitch was quite common at the Earth Day fair. Household cleansers that we're told can be dangerous were displayed alongside detergents that are supposed to be much safer. Companies are hoping consumers will buy these so-called green products. Plenty of people did show they were willing to buy into Earth Day, picking up T-shirts at $20 a pop. Earth is in. Recycle, reduce, reuse, and even remember.
This awareness is very much what I grew up with, growing up during the Depression and during the days of World War II when we were very careful about material and everything like that. And we were brought up not to waste.
The people who took time to learn more about Earth Day issues want to help and change their ways. What about the people who aren't all that concerned? Can you force people to recycle? Have other towns done it?
Sure, yeah. Other places do it several ways. There can be fines imposed. You could not pick up the garbage if their recyclables are in the garbage.
Recycling and other lifestyle changes are coming. Earth Day helps focus attention on them. But will that attention wear thin? Can one Earth Day make a difference?
I don't know, it went pretty well 20 years ago, and I have a feeling that this will be continued more so than it was 20 years ago.
Will this one day make a difference 20 years from now or even next year? Diana Pilatus talked with some people today to find out if they think it's all hype and no help.
Nancy Doubleday and Joyce Landau are just two of the regulars at the Good Company General Store at the Genesee Co-op. This is a place where the earth is respected, where every day is Earth Day.
It's really becoming a popular issue, and people really want to buy things that are good for the planet.
Is living worth it? I mean, we have to ask ourselves that question because the earth may not be here in the future if we don't do something about it.
But what about the rest of us? Is Earth Day going to become just another day? In a land of plenty, it seems almost un-American to conserve, to cut back. Many of us still drive big cars, guzzle gas, and continue to throw everything away. Some people said this Earth Day was too overdone, too commercialized, and they fear the renewed environmental awareness will end at the end of the day.
I think they've made a big thing of it, but I don't think that people are really thinking about it. I think they've used too much commercial. It's just really commercial. It's just like the one, We Are the World. That's just what it reminds me of.
But people like Barb Sprowley know something can and must be done now, even without Earth Day. She's made recycling part of her lifestyle. You think it's making a difference?
I think, not right now, but I think eventually will be if enough people will do it.
Will enough people pitch in, or will the Earth Day spirit go out with the trash? Diana Pilatus, News 5, Rochester.
In other news on this Sunday, a Greece congregation will take a few days before deciding how it'll rebuild. Minutes before the 10 o'clock service at this Greece Baptist church, fire broke out in the back of the building. Churchgoers evacuated, then watched their place of worship go up in flames.
Generally of the mind that the church is not the building, it's the people, and we'll rally around this and reclaim it and go on.
No one was hurt. The church also sustained some smoke and water damage. Greece fire investigators believe a short circuit in a light switch may have touched off that fire.
And it was a day for remembering at Syracuse University. A memorial service was held for the 35 students who were killed aboard Pan Am Flight 103. Among them, of course, Karen Hunt of Webster. She was returning from studies when terrorists bombed their jet. A 4-foot-high granite monument was unveiled today. The names of the victims are engraved on the wall. Families and loved ones place roses on top of the memorial, which is located at the university's place of remembrance.
Well, we enjoyed a lot of sunshine and warm temperatures on this Earth Day 1990. We can't thank meteorologist Sam Evans for us, but we can ask him what the rest of the week is going to be like. Sam?
I think we're going to see more of the same. Thank you, Doug. It was a glorious Earth Day. I hope you enjoyed it. Right now, things are looking mighty fine this evening. Clear skies throughout much of New York State, although there is a little bit of low-level fog over Ontario and Lake Erie. But for most of us, here is our weather for tomorrow. Clear skies in the Ohio Valley, and that is moving our way. Right now, 58 degrees outside, rather mild, 80% relative humidity, southwest winds at 14, and the barometer 30.08 and rising. Partly sunny skies tomorrow morning with the temperature around 50 degrees. Up ahead, we'll take a look at the week ahead, which is looking very spring-like.
Thanks, Sam. Next on News 5, freedom for an American hostage in Lebanon.
We'll hear his first words in freedom in more than 3 years.
Five-year-old Robert Polhill is a free man tonight. His release is a sign of hope for families of other hostages like Terry Anderson, who's been in captivity for more than 5 years. More now on Polhill's release in news from around the world.
Two colleagues,
on the road to freedom, Robert Polhill's face looked drawn, his voice hoarse, as he reflected about what he finally has, freedom.
It's hard to think about something that you haven't got. Without making yourself a good deal more upset about not having it. If I wanted to have a great big cake, the worst thing to think about was having a big cake, because then I just, well, okay, bring it, please. So I didn't dwell on that subject.
Polhill's release has also brought relief to Rochester, where 2 of his aunts live. We talked to them by phone tonight. Carol Anderson of Fairport and Lois Bird of Penfield told us they're elated about their nephew's freedom. And there were more sounds of excitement today. In New York's Times Square, a model of our Earth rose to the spot where the ball usually falls on New Year's Eve. Thousands of Earthlings turned out to watch and celebrate Earth Day's 20th birthday.
No news is not necessarily good news for Rochester's Lithuanian community. This morning, Jim Maroney went to services at St. George's Church, where the prayers went out for loved ones in their homeland.
The vice keeps tightening in Lithuania. Supplies of food, fuel, even tires just about used up. The Soviet Union's economic blockade on the breakaway republic is nearly complete. American Lithuanians in Rochester can only wait for the latest news from Eastern Europe and pray their friends and loved ones can hang in there. Many, like Father Justin Vashki, want America to help out.
We cannot understand why our government of the United States better supports Gorbachev.
St. George's is one of the central meeting places for local Lithuanians. They exchange stories about relatives dealing with Soviet pressure back home. This man sent his cousin an Easter letter.
And he said that there was a censorship still going on there, and they took that thing away from them.
There's never going to be a good time for Lithuania to seek its independence. People see it as some kind of a problem, that it will cause a problem between the superpowers. I don't think it really has to.
Even with the Soviet crackdown, there are no doubting Thomases here at St. George's. Father Vashkis and his congregation don't need to see progress to believe that one day Lithuania will be free. Jim Maroney, News 5, Rochester.
In other news, the measles alert continues at SUNY Brockport. There have been 5 confirmed cases. By tomorrow, all students on campus have to show a green or yellow card. That's proof that they've been inoculated. If they don't have their card, students won't be allowed in classes, dorms, or to eat meals. The majority of students have been inoculated, but there are some who haven't.
We know that some of these students will show up for class on Monday, primarily graduate students. We hope to take care of those at that period of time. So we figure we'll be looking at about 500 to 750 students on Monday.
Coming up later on News 5, Bill Pucko will have the results of the NFL draft held today.
But first, meteorologist Sam Evans joins us next with our back-to-work forecast. Stay with us.
This portion of News 5 Weather is brought to you by Chase Lincoln First.
Well, Sam, for your first day on the job, I think we've made things pretty easy for you. Yeah, if you were a school teacher, you would probably give me a straight A today,
yes,
right?
I would. A+.
Take the praise for good days, then. You have to take the blame for the lousy ones.
I'll remember that.
I got an Earth Day fact for you, Doug, and this is a little bit more unusual. We've been throwing out a lot of statistics concerning Earth Day. Here it is. Did you know that 1% of all the water on the Earth is drinkable? Just 1%. Something to think about, at least for me, when I'm brushing my teeth tomorrow morning. I will not let that faucet run. Let's take a look at the Northeast right now. It isn't looking so bad. There is a little bit of fog. That is mostly over Lake Erie and parts of Lake Ontario. You can see, though, generally clear skies over much of New York State. Then this is where our weather will be coming from, all over this Ohio Valley region, and you can see not a cloud in the sky there. With the southwest winds, we should see another very sunny day tomorrow, maybe a little morning fog, but that will burn off. Here's how the map looks for Monday. High pressure in control, and that's the reason why we had such a nice day today, and that's why we should have a nice day again for tomorrow. Now here's the good news. As that high continues to move towards the east, the winds will start really coming from the southwest. And when you have a good southwest flow, we could see temperatures really rising. Highs today, we're topping out in the mid-60s. For tomorrow, somewhere in the same, upper 60s, close to 70. But as you can see, this big area of 70s out in the Ohio Valley, and that means midweek temperatures will stay in the 70s, and that's the good news for this week. Okay, here's the forecast. Overnight, partly cloudy, some fog. Tomorrow, a sunny start as that fog burns off, 50 degrees for the morning. By lunchtime, sunny and warm with highs in the mid to upper 60s, maybe close to 70 by mid-afternoon, and maybe some sun. Dinner time with temperatures in the upper 50s. Here is the extended outlook. As we move into Tuesday, a little bit more in the way of clouds with a high around 70. Then Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures still remaining in the lower 70s, but maybe a few rain showers mixed in as a storm moves our way. Well, earlier this week, I met a woman who has no fears preaching the environmental word. I'd like you to meet her.
Yeah, here's great for
Liz Grutadario is a very busy woman. She cuts hair at her in-home salon, she takes time to juggle family affairs, and she is also deeply committed to environmental concerns.
I think of our children, I think of our children's children, and I think of today as taking care of what we have and making the best of what we have, our natural resources, and not wasting them.
When we think of pollution, we often blame big business or industry. But Liz says we regularly pollute our own environment. It's just a matter of creativity.
Well, there are things that we can all do in our homes. First thing I do when I get up in the morning, instead of the stale air from the day before, is I brew some cloves and some allspice on the stove and just a little pot of water on the stove instead of spraying around an air freshener, not letting the shower run for half an hour while you're doing something else.
Even her house illustrates her environmental philosophy.
Most of our furniture and everything has been just handed down for generations, things that people have thrown away on the street, or people find and say, do you want this? And we might not want it, but we save it and pass it on to someone else. Just use common sense and make every day an Earth Day.
In the weeks and months ahead, I'll introduce you to more people like Liz so that you, your family, your kids can all find ways to clean up our little corner of the planet. And I'll also be out there every day when our weather makes the news. And of course that means I'm lucky, because if it was 6 months from now, they probably would stick me in a lake effect snow ban. Thankfully, it's getting into the springtime. But if we have good thunderstorms or anything like that, I'll be out there looking them up, covering them, and giving you that report.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sam.
You're welcome.
Standing by with Sports Now, Bill Pucko, and some highlights of today's NFL draft.
Yeah, what a great day for the selection process, huh? Get out there and watch it. Also, Jeff Sluman came pretty close today. We'll show you highlights from Greensboro next in sports.
This portion of News 5 Sports is brought to you by Wegmans.
Hello, everyone. Well, the Buffalo Bills got something today that they'd waited 3 years for. A first-round pick in the NFL Draft.
The Buffalo Bills select James Williams, defensive back, Fresno State.
Williams hails from Fresno State. His strong suit is speed. And playing in the PCAC, Williams has defended a lot of passes. He becomes the heir apparent to Derek Burrows down the road. With their second pick, the Bills went for a fullback, Cardwell Gardner of Louisville.
He goes 6'1.5", 232, ran a 4.63 at the combine, so the speed and the size factors there, along with the outstanding hands and just the way he performed this year was just something we were looking for in another dimension to our offense.
Do you expect him to show, is there an expectation that he can show that right away?
Right away? I never expect a rookie to show it right away. No. Never expect a rookie to show that he's complete right away and ready to step. Rarely.
Can we go back to the first pick?
With their first 3 picks, the Bills reinforced 3 parts of their game, making Arizona offensive tackle Glenn Parker their 3rd-round pick. Now, the draft has progressed into the 5th round, and among those still waiting for a call is Greece Olympic grad Marcus Wilson. He'll graduate from the University of Virginia this spring, and we just talked to him 10 minutes ago. He was catching up on some homework. Marcus says that he is not worried, that he expected to be picked in the middle rounds. He'd been projected as high as round 3. Jeff Sluman got into contention at the Greensboro Open with a 68 yesterday, and today nearly won it. The Rochester native played steady, unspectacular golf, dropping a shorty here at number 12 to go 6 under. And Jeff led the field. But ahead of him, Steve Elkington was tearing it up. A bird at 17 on his way to a 66, 5 under and 1 stroke back. By powering out, Sluman would have won, but it wasn't to be. He recorded 2 bogeys on the final 4 holes. This tee shot at the par 3 17th did him in. And Sluman split second-place money, $110,000, a good week's work.
I've worked hard on my game, and it's getting pretty close to, where I want to. And it held up today or this week for 68 holes, so I can't complain.
To baseball, with the Rochester Red Wings now the best record in the Alliance and have turned what was a 3-game losing streak Thursday into a 3-game winning streak. A doubleheader at Richmond today, and in Game 1 the Wings did all their scoring in 2 innings. They got 4 in the 5th, 5 in the 3rd, and turned 4 double plays behind Mickey Weston, who won his 3rd. Chris Hoyles hit his 4th home run. In the second game, Mike Smith pitched 6 great innings, and Juan Bell drove in the game-winning run as the Wings complete the sweep 2-1. They come home to face Columbus tomorrow with Mike Jones starting for the town team. The Rochester Americans spent the day at the ballpark, Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where the Orioles beat Detroit today. The boys play the Skipjacks in Game 4 of their Calder Cup semifinal series tomorrow night. Donna Ledette and Francois Gay are both feeling fine, and they should be ready to go. The Amerks lead the best-of-7 series 2-1. Meanwhile, with another great effort in the Nets last night, Darcy Wakaluk has become the Calder Cup playoffs' top goalie. His goals against average has shrunk to 2.28, and he's become a money player.
The goaltender wants to prove himself, so I think the biggest way to prove yourself would be to win a championship, and that's what we're all striving for here. I mean, that's the one goal that we want to accomplish right now.
The U of R baseball team dipped under the 500 mark after losing a pair to Hobart today. The St. John Fisher team dropped a pair to Cortland. They were no-hit by Cortland's Mike Jablonski in the first game. In a local performance chart tonight, the Greater Rochester Track Club kicked off its season with a 5-mile tune-up. Local standouts Joe Kubek and Marie White posted the best times. 26:08 for Joe, 33:12 for Marie. At Finger Lakes this afternoon, Kevin Whitley and John Grabowski won 6 races between them. 3,066 on hand under the sun at Farmington. Here's the race of the day, and it's a beauty. It's the 4th, with Ring for Paula's on the outside challenging Iron Out, those two heading home. And from the far outside, watch Catherine Says with a tremendous stretch run.
And on the inside coming on is
this goes to the photo, and when it's examined, the inside horse Iron Out was the winner with a dead heat for second. Daily double today of D and ACU paid $24.60. The trifecta of Whirling Bow, Sky Salt and Pepper with Especially Bright paid well, $904.40 for that win. That is sports.
What a race. Thanks, Bill. Next on News 5, meet the future of our planet. Stay with us. It was 20 years ago today, Republican Mayor Steve May declared it Earth Day here at a Washington Square Park ceremony. We've come a long way since Sgt. Pepper and Men on the Moon. Now we recycle newspapers and turn in cans for nickels, which can only make us wonder, will Earth Day in 20 years be as meaningful as Veterans Day is to another generation? Or will it just be an excuse for a sale or a day off from school? Ecologists tell us we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children.
Now, what about Earth Day? What do you think this is all about?
To help the planet and to make it so it can be a better world for people. This is a special day for the Earth. Everybody's trying to help save the Earth.
And you think that we can do it?
Yeah, I think we can. It's never going to get as good as it was, but I think we can save it.
I think we're in good shape. How are we in shape as far as the weather goes, Sam?
Well, we're in very good shape for Monday. Sunny skies and very warm temperatures.
J.D. Williams is a Buffalo Bill. Marcus Wilson waits.
Coming up this week is set aside for crime victims awareness. Tomorrow night, I'm going to have a special report. And that's our 10 o'clock report for this Sunday, April 22nd. Thanks for inviting us in.
Hope you'll join us again here tomorrow night at 10 and every night at 10 for everybody here at News 5. Have a good evening.
Good night.